So I didn't announce it. I don't think I announced what episode we were on last one. So maybe you can do us justice, do a better job.
Well, this is a big one. 26. That's 6 months, dude.
6 months, dude.
6 months of that. Consistent.
Very consistent. This is the most consistent thing in my life right
now. I know. I mean,
now.
it's funny. So that means we've met. So we've met. What, 13 times? Is it? No. Yeah, 13 times because we do 2.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
It's pretty cool, man.
It goes by fast. Goes by fast, man. Yeah.
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 Well, it's like this. Like when I texted you, I was like, "Do we record this like tomorrow or I think it was for the following day?" You're like, "Yep." I was like, "God, 2 weeks, dude. It's gone. It's just done."
I know. You know what's weird? It's like even with this COVID stuff going on and everything's different, time is flying.
Yeah, dude. I totally agree. So I don't know. Has it eased up anywhere with you, with where you're at?
As far as restrictions and stuff?
As far as like, yeah.
Yeah. We just this past weekend, they went more lenient. I don't know what it's called, phase 1 or 2 or 3 or tier 1 or what, but now I think they allow indoor dining to a certain capacity.
Okay.
And some other stuff. So yeah, they did loosen it up a little bit. How about you?
I think we've been at a pretty low level as far as what we can do. I think the more stringent stuff has been in like New York and Florida, as far as I know. It's been like still like they closed down indoor dining. But I mean, I can go and get something to eat inside. I wear a mask inside, walk 3 feet, take the mask off, and eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's still going on. I just met with 3 of my friends from my childhood the other week. We went right into the bar, ate. Everything was spaced out and everything's going accordingly, you know. But
sure,
it's been pretty lenient in Virginia, so I'm kind of happy about that. But
yeah,
my wife being in the hygiene field. She's opening up people's mouths, all that kind of stuff. It's obviously still super, stringent as far as what they can do. And then it kind of makes her nervous a little bit. And it makes me nervous a little bit because what she deals with every day. And she comes home and then, like, she's kind of like confined to her friends at work and like me. You know what I mean? That's where she feels most comfortable.
That's the bubble.
That's the bubble. It's like friends at work because if they've got something, then so does she. But we'll leave it inside the bubble, and then me. So I think that's been kind of tough as far as that.
Yeah, my kids are back in school now,
Good.
but it's like Mondays and Tuesdays from 7:45 to 11:30. So that's it. It's a half day.
Quick. Do y'all drive then to school?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
To the junior high, yes. Grade school is a block away. So my other son goes to grade school. And the other day, I'm like, "Hey, man, you want me to walk you to school?" "No, you guys are embarrassing." He just
embarrassing. I'll show you embarrassing, son.
Yeah. So anyway,
let's fire it up.
Yeah.
The Rugged Moto Show.
Yeah. Do we do the trivia question now or after?
So we'll be answering last week's, right? I think we did it wrong last time. So I think this week we'll be answering last week's puzzler.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
So the one that you wait.
Yeah, I did it last week.
Well, so what's the answer, Matt? Tell us the freaking answer, dude.
All right, so last week I said, hey, what? Yeah, so what did I say? It was in the 80s, Suzuki had a system called S.A.C.S, which stands for Suzuki Advanced Cooling System. And it was basically oil air cooled.
So they had like a radiator for the oil?
Yeah, it was strictly oil cooled.
Okay.
Oil air cooled. So it had a big ass oil cooler on the front, and so forth.
Cool. Okay.
Kind of like
thinking like a. I was kind of thinking if I were to answer it, it was going to be like Suzuki's awesome controlled suspension or something. Like it had to be something to do with suspension.
yeah.
So cool. Well, they thought very highly of their oil cooler. Cool.
I don't know. I mean, I think one thing was from a performance standpoint is like they were able to be punched out a lot because the cylinder walls are pretty thick, I believe.
Yeah.
No cooling jackets or anything like that. So
okay.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
There you go. Anybody who comment below, you win. You win. You can rest easily, sleep delicately. You have won. That's it.
All right. So you have one for this this episode or what? Okay.
I do. So the question is super easy, right? When cornering on a motorcycle, which tire takes upwards of 75%, or which tire which tire takes up almost 75% of the actual traction that is used on the bike when cornering, front or rear tire? Which one takes up almost 75% of the traction? Like which one's being used almost 75% during your cornering? We'll leave it at that.
I wheelie through my corners, man.
Awesome. Cool. So,
okay.
If you want to find out the answer, tune in next week to the Broken Moto Show, episode 27.
That's right.
Bingo. Okay. So, Matt, once and for all, fire us off this episode.
All right, guys. Special episode tonight, episode 26 of the Broken Moto Show. We've been doing this for 6 months consistently every week.
6 months.
Yeah. Consistent. So that's half a year, obviously. But anyway. All right. So I'm Matt from howtomotorcyclerepair.com, and this is my buddy Cody from MotorcycleMD, and we answer your tech questions that you submit to a certain email. And Cody, what's that email?
That email is askbrokenmoto@gmail.com. That is where you contact us. That's where you send us your pictures, your videos. Tell us what's up. You know, that's where tech questions go to live here on the channel. askbrokenmoto@gmail.com. Send us, actually in the subject, make sure you put your year, make, and model if possible, if it's motorcycle related in the subject. I mean, in the description, try to be descriptive. That's what, tell us where the bike's been, how old it is, how many owners has it had. The mileage on the bike is super helpful. What have you done? What have you haven't done? Again, pictures, video, guys, it's super helpful for us. If you got them, send them, figure it out. If you don't know how to put a picture inside of an email, then you have a different issue in 2021, So that's how you get on the show. That's how you contact us.
Yep.
That's it. Cool. I love our silences. Cool. Yep. That's it.
So I did the intro, and you got to do the first question, huh?
I do. Okay.
Because I really want you to take this one.
Great. Thank you. I can see why.
Yeah.
Episode 26, question number 1. We have a 1983 CB500 custom. Good day, fellow motorcycle men. My bike has started making some what seems like chattering or clattering down the bottom half of the motor. I've adjusted both cam chains. There are 2 on this bike. If it only makes noise at idle speeds around 1100 RPM. When I increase the RPM, it instantly goes away. I have checked a couple of forums, and some have said that it is the primary chain. I don't believe it, since the noise seems to be coming from the left side, so sitting on the bike, left side, outermost part of the crank. I ran the bike with the cover off, excuse me, and it seems to be really loud with that left cover off. You can really hear it there. I do have experience working on Hondas from the 80s. It seems to me that it is not the primary, meaning the chain. I think, Matt, you talked about this in one of your motor rebuild videos on the 750. A primary chain that connects what? The crankshaft to the main shaft?
Counter shaft, right?
The counter shaft, you're right.
Which is the clutch.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a stethoscope. I have put a stethoscope to it, and it does not seem to be coming from the bottom or middle of the crankcase where primary is located, that primary chain he's talking about. This is that noise that you hear on a lot of the old single cam 750s that just sounds like there's a pocket of change inside the motor. That's that primary chain. I talked to a Honda mechanic, and he seems to think that there is a spring in the timing mechanism, which could be stretched out and needs replacing, ? Other than that, the bike runs great. Has very good compression. Carbs are clean and synced. Any ideas on what else it may be? Michael from We Don't Know. Okay, so I don't have I don't have the most range time on the CB500. They're actually kind of a rarity to find in good shape that are like worth working on. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's very similar to the dual overhead cam. When Honda switched to the electromagnetic charging system, this all kind of falls in line with that. So what I'm going to tell you may or may not be true, but I'm going off of what, what's the term when you have like memory that is based off of like images? What's it called? Photographic memory. Based on my photographic memory, anything on the left-hand side of the bike. So you're talking about what I think the mechanic was talking about is the advancer unit on the back side of the ignition pulsar plate. So Matt, these have what looks like a point system, but functions like an electronic ignition point system. They still have an advancer unit on the backhand side of that plate. So that's the only thing I can think of that mechanic would be talking about. But that means you're talking about the advancer unit going buck wild behind this plate, causing chattering for you to hear audibly, which I've never heard of in my life. What I think it is I believe that the starter sits pointing towards the left-hand side of the bike, which means that the starter clutch is also left-hand side of the bike, which is common on some of the older, like 80, maybe 90s VT1100 V twins. They had a starter clutch on the left-hand side versus the right. So it's very possible. This is everything that I was kind of chewing on it in my head while I was reading this email. So your starter clutch is nasty, right? It's a bad system, okay? It works, but it's a bad system. And the starter clutch has like these rollers and these springs and these dowels inside. Matt, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. You're frozen though. I can hear your audio, but your video's frozen.
So what I was going to say was that on the left-hand side of the bike, he's thinking our mechanic had told him that a stretched spring system on his left-hand side that had to do with the timing of the bike was causing this chattering, which I just think is very doubtful because he's talking about the advancer unit. So anything that's on the left-hand side of where he's talking about, it's like an advancer unit like you would see on a point system.
Right.
But it's just a little bit different. You know, there's tiny springs. I can't see that shattering and the bike running well. You know, that means to be trying to advance the whole time. You know?
Yeah, you would have erratic timing,
It'd be awful.
And you'd have erratic idle speed. Your idle would hunt. Oh, dude, all kinds of crazy stuff would be going on.
Yeah. So I don't fully agree with that. What I do think, from what I believe is what my brain is telling me from the images that I've seen of the bike and working on one, seeing one, is I believe that the starter faces out the left-hand side of the bike. This unit is equipped with a starter clutch. This starter clutch is the same type of starter clutch that's in like the old 350s, the old 450s. It's a very janky system. It's like a disc that's bolted into the back of this gear that has rollers and springs and retainers and all these things that like jumble around when the starter is spinning. And the bolts, there's like 3 or 4 bolts, Phillips head bolts that hold that thing on, and those come loose all the time. They come loose all the time. Whether you would hear that at idle, I don't know. But if that starter is coming out the left-hand side of the bike, you can stethoscope all you want. It's not going to be what you think it is, which is the advancer unit. You can check to see if it's tight, if it's on there tight, but something is traveling through to get that noise. And if that starter is on the left-hand side, that means it's attached to that gear. I think that he should look into the starter clutch system of this bike. That's my only advice on it. I have a video on starter clutches, or the 350 starter clutch, which is very similar. If you want to get an idea, we'll put a link in the description below of what it's kind of going to look like. But it's just a really janky system, and that could be where the fumbling is being heard from, I think.
So it's the 3 roller setup?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
It may be more, but yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, at least 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly don't have much to add because it seems like he's done a really good job of diagnosing this.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, sometimes if your carbs are out of sync and if your engine is not tuned, you'll get some rattling or some noises at low RPM.
But he covered all that.
Yeah, his RPM is not low, and he says that they're synced and everything. So I don't know, man. I guess you're leading him in a good direction with the starter clutch in the left side.
Let us know, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, maybe take all that apart and see what you find. I mean,
I mean, like I said, he can check for loose stuff, but there's no like big whomping spring on the back of that timing unit. It's just like you before in point systems.
Yeah. I mean, so this is like a similar setup to like a Dyna.
Pretty much, exactly.
You remove the points, but you still need the mechanical advance for the pulsar.
Correct.
But yeah, if those springs were loose, man, you would have runnability issues because that timing would be hunting.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a chance that the advanced unit's like wanting to like hop off, but I mean, it's so rare. You know, you just go in there. It's like a 10 millimeter, 6 millimeter bolt. Tighten it up, see what it looks like. But I would check the starter clutch, and I'll stop it there. Cool. So we have a beer fund that we use as a support system from you guys. You know, we need your support throughout all of this nonsense of questions and answers and time spent editing. And it's just a way for you guys to say, hey, I value what you guys do. I support you. It means a lot to us. We, are able to get cool beers or whatever we want, really, because of you guys' support. And just it means a lot to us. And lately we've had some pretty awesome donations. So, Matt, why don't you spout those fine gentlemen off?
Yeah. So a lot of donations this time around this week.
Yeah.
We have Justo.
Boom.
He's our regular.
Every week for us. He's a regular.
Yeah. We have a new person, Joy.
And
another regular, the Fitz.
Yep.
And KJ in Pittsburgh.
Thank you, KJ.
Paul, which is AICD 99. Thanks, Paul.
We don't know what that means, but thanks, Paul.
Justo again. And the Fitz again. So they doubled up. They're trying to compete each other or something.
I think so. They're always two-time, and then they double tap. They donate and double tap. So
awesome. Thank you very much, guys. It means a lot to us.
Yeah, thank you. Again, tonight.
Dink.
I'm doing this. Matt's got some seltzer.
I've just water.
Water. Okay, that works.
So I was talking to my cousin, and he's like, "Dude, I discovered a new liquor store. Well, it's always been there, but he's like, I walked in there, and the guy has all kinds of nice craft beers and stuff. So I'm gonna walk in there and get a bunch of stuff because he's like, man, that's all I go. I go in there. He's got what I need. He's got,
Okay.
I'm gonna check it out, and I'll have something next in 2 weeks.
Sweet, man. Are your liquor stores called ABC stores?
No. What does that mean?
So in Virginia, they separate. Like, they can't sell liquor inside of grocery stores. They can't sell liquor inside of like superstores or anything like that, like markets or anything like that.
All liquor?
Liquor stores are always all liquor, any liquor whatsoever.
Oh, all right.
So in grocery stores, they can sell wine and beer, but they cannot sell liquor whatsoever.
Oh, you're talking hard liquor.
Hard liquor.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So all of our liquor stores in all of Virginia are called ABC stores. That's just what they're called. ABC.
Like the name on the
That's
front?
it, dude. On the front, ABC.
So it's a brand.
That's the brand.
Okay.
But they do not sell beer inside of them.
Wow.
They'll only sell liquor. Like, it's literally a store just liquor. That's the only place that you can buy liquor in Virginia is at an ABC store.
Over here, grocery stores, they'll sell both beer, wine, and hard liquor, and there's tons of different hard liquor stores. I mean, all kinds. Even gas stations will sell beer.
We have beer at gas stations, but no liquor.
I don't think there's any hard liquor. Maybe the little bottles. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've run into different situations in like Delaware, where there's like there are like mega alcohol stores. You can get liquor, beer, mixers, all that stuff. But that just does not exist here in Virginia.
Dude, we went on vacation to Tennessee, and I'm like, oh man, I should be able to get whiskey everywhere. Mm-hmm. No, you can't. I'm like, where the hell's all the whiskey, man?
In someone's backyard. You have to walk into someone's backyard and get some Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah. So
so what did they have liquor stores too? Like just
well, yeah. It was just beer and wine. No hard liquor. I just wanted to try some local whiskey or bourbon or whatever, but well, maybe next time.
Tennessee's, I've never been there.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Smoky Mountains, man.
Yeah, dude.
We went to the national park and all that other stuff. It was fun.
You guys ever been to Virginia Beach?
No.
Cool.
We are. Spot. So we were talking in the last episode about all this COVID stuff. I can't wait to take a road trip.
Yeah.
We usually do 1 or 2 a year, and we haven't done any because of what's going on.
Right.
But yeah, I think later this year, maybe in the fall, late summer or the fall, we got to go somewhere, man. So
cool, man. Well, I mean, shout out Virginia Beach, which is like a big tourist location for Virginia.
Okay.
If you're on the beach, you can get an oceanfront hotel, nice hotel, top floor, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You'll look out over the ocean to have sand at your feet every morning if you want. They got a boardwalk there. They got stores, shops, all kinds of stuff. So
nice. So when we do vacations, we try to avoid touristy spots.
Okay. Yeah. Understandable.
Or if we do, we're not like in it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like when we went to Tennessee, the Smoky Mountains, that's Gatlinburg.
Okay.
Very touristy. But what we did is we rented a cabin about a half an hour away that was on a creek on 5 acres. And there was nobody, dude.
Nice.
Nobody.
Dude. Very cool.
So that's the kind of stuff we like to do,
Yeah. Very cool. Well, again, to try to pull you into Virginia, they have places like Yorktown, Williamsburg, all on the beach. These are all places that like established the 13 colonies.
Oh,
so
wow.
Virginia is like a very well-known space for where a lot of wars took place, like battles. and you can literally visit the grounds that they were battling on and like see buildings with cannons inside of them and all kinds of crazy stuff.
That's
or
crazy.
Like cannonballs, like buried inside the brick wall of a building. It's pretty cool.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So
cool.
Otherwise, we're definitely gonna go to, if they do the Moment Ride show, I'll see you there.
Yeah. Did you get any more info on that?
Yeah. So they're not doing it this year. The one that was supposed to be, it happened in December. So they brought it super short. So it was like it's supposed to be in February or something like that, but then they started it in December. So 2021, that was for 2020, obviously. So for 2021, there's no information about when it will be yet, but we will be going to it. So whenever you get information about it, if you get it before me, we'll try to find if we can't see like an Airbnb out there or something, or we'll stay at a hotel, but I expect you to be there.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I don't know where you plan on flying. I don't know if you plan on flying to Milwaukee or what, but I'm right by O'Hare.
Okay.
And I can pick your ass up.
O'Hare.
And I can drive you to Milwaukee, you know.
It's good to know.
I'm 10, 15 minutes away from O'Hare.
Okay.
And Milwaukee's an hour and a half.
Sweet.
It might be cheaper to fly to O'Hare and then rent a car to your destination, or I can drive you, you know what I'm saying, versus going to whatever. Right. Just keep that in mind.
Cool. Thank you. It's going to happen.
Cool.
It's something going to happen. So, okay. So back to the show. So we shoot up all the time.
Yeah.
We usually have. So,
question 2, right?
Yeah, question 2. So this will be on you since you placed that mammoth of one on me. This is all you.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Question 2. Hi guys. Yeah. Sorry for being late in my reply to your invitation to send in more tech questions. I need your help related to my 76 CB500 4 and some issues that I've been having with the running on the engine as well as the lack of charging. Background: I have dismantled and reassembled the bike with the invaluable help with the videos on the CB550 4 that I purchased from Matt. Big thanks. Nice. So yeah, I have videos on this. So he picked them up to make the engine run for the next 45 years. The engine was fully refurbished with a lot of new and refurbished parts after reassembling the wiring with a new harness and some help from an electrician. I have no clue about electrics. And to my surprise, I'm not a trained mechanic. The engine did start and ran smoothly and nicely, but now comes the big but. It does not keep running as smoothly and nicely like that for long. After 3 to 5 minutes, the idling suddenly starts to get rough. Riding the bike, the engine loses power, obviously 1 or 2 of the cylinders failing to fire. After another minute, it gets hard to keep the engine on and it stalls and gets hard to start. Also, I noticed that after replace the old mechanical regulator rectifier with a digital one. Initially, I had charging current, but then this suddenly stopped, and now I do not have charging current. Besides the electrical issues, I had the suspicion that the refurbished carbs could have some jets blocked, so I removed and cleaned them as thoroughly as I could. After refitting everything, no change. Again, easy starting, but no stable running. Also, I noticed that the engine is very sensitive to the position of the choke. Even though I live in tropical Malaysia with constant temperatures between 26 to 34 degrees C, I cannot close the choke if I do not want the engine to stall. Also, I noticed that the exhaust coming from cylinders 2 and 3, the lower pipes, emit cold exhaust, whereas the upper pipes for 1 and 4 emit hot exhaust. I used the color tune for cylinders 2 and 3. I didn't see any light emissions, as if the cylinders did not fire at all, whereas the cylinders 1 and 4 fire with orange color. Then I replaced the ignition coils with aftermarket ones, including wires and plugs. No improvement. Mm-hmm. Spark plugs are new. I'm using a Dyna S. I have no workshop here in Kuala Lumpur, and that would help out solid knowledge, so I hope your advice on this can prove. I can provide a number of videos illustrating the symptoms through wet transfer or Dropbox. Cheers, Daniel.
Wet transfer sounds gross.
Yeah. It does sound kind of weird.
You want to do a wet transfer video feed? Oh man.
So
There's a lot to unpack here, man.
there's a lot going on here. So I mean, he's pretty much had the whole thing apart. Engine.
Yeah.
He's messing with the harness. He's messing with the charging.
So let's to not make this answer 1 hour long. Let's assume he did everything perfect with the motor. Valve adjustment, ignition timing is all spot on. The ignition timing is one of the things that I wanted to be like, well, you should check this. You know, because 1 and 4, there's 2 different points, blah, 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 right? That was one of the things I wanted to hit on, but let's assume that all of his motor stuff is perfect. And we'll go from there. Shoot.
Okay, so we have good compression, right? Obviously.
Yep.
It's a fresh motor.
Compression.
Okay.
Fresh motor.
He installed.
Thanks to Matt.
Yeah. He installed the Dyna S, and you've installed a couple of those, I'm sure.
I think maybe 2.
Yeah.
2, 3.
Okay. Well, every time I install those, they set up. You have the big plate and then the little guys for 1 and 4 and 2 and 3. Well, those guys are spot on. If you get one, the other one's pretty good too. You don't have to mess with it. So that's pretty. It's pretty easy to install that and time it. And the thing runs
for a minute.
Yeah. But the bigger question is he's not firing on 2 cylinders. I mean, he's got cold exhaust on 2 cylinders.
Right.
So that's an issue.
Keep choke on too to keep that running.
Yeah. So wait, I didn't understand this correctly. I cannot close the choke if I do not want the engine to stall. So what is, I can't.
I think what he meant was like, I can't turn the choke off. Meaning like I can't unchoke it without it staying, like in order to get it to stay running, I have to have the choke on somewhat is what I read from that.
So it's partially on.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, nowhere here is he talking about carb sync or tuning the carbs.
Right.
That's big for, if 2 cylinders are cold or whatever. I mean, it may not be balanced.
He said he went through it the best that he could.
Yeah.
Which may not be good enough.
I mean, you gotta vacuum sync these carbs.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. But ultimately you got to get those cylinders firing.
Yeah.
So that's the main problem. What do you want to add to this?
Dude, I would hit it with starter fluid. I mean, we know the age-old trick. If it's got ignition, then if you hit it with starter fluid, then it will fire. If you got compression and ignition, so if you hit it and all of a sudden, boom, 2 cylinders come to life, then you have a fuel delivery, aka carb issue. I know you went through the carb already, but no bike ever should need to have the the choke on partially to get it to run and idle for an extended period of time. Yes, bikes that are cold, they need choke on. That's why the choke is there. It's there to help with that startup. But if you're only running on 2 cylinders, then you're only running on 2 cylinders. I don't think it's a coil issue. You replace the coils. And we're going to assume that you did the motor perfectly. Valve adjustment is perfect. All that stuff is perfect. Ignition timing, perfect. Because we can hit every nail on the head with this when it comes to what it could be. Like we're just guessing. To me, it comes all back to the carburetors. That was the one thing that has been missed thoroughly on this.
So with it running or not running, you would hit it with starting fluid for those 2 cylinders and see if the pipes get,
see if anything happens.
If anything pops, right?
Right, because he should hear it. I mean, because it sounds like it's always running on 2 cylinders. That's what it sounds like to me. Like he's able to get it to run with choke, boom, it's just like it's like barely running, and all of a sudden, I think if you hit it with some starter fluid, it'll be like it'll like maybe skyrocket. You know how that happens?
Yeah. No, it's a good easy test.
Yeah, that's what I would do, man, because it sounds like you have a carb issue. That's what, or your ignition timing is way off. Which I don't think is necessarily the case.
Yeah. Well, he did say it ran. He said it did.
Only ever ran for like 3 or 4 minutes. Is what I thought of.
Yeah.
You said.
It sounds like it runs smoothly for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I think you got to look at the carbs. Something's up with that. They're not balanced. The cylinders aren't getting the right fuel and air.
Yeah.
And therefore they're not firing correctly.
Double check it. You can double check it, the ignition timing if you want. Make sure that 2 and 3, if that's the one that's not firing, is timed correctly. Maybe try throwing an old point plate on there. I mean, but there's no reason to like go into this thoroughly because we could never, we'll start a conversation that will never end.
Yeah. And, at this point, change the spark plugs out.
Yeah.
Or at least swap them. Take 1 and 4 and 2 and 3 and swap them.
Yeah.
See if the problem follows.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think startup fluid is going to be a saving grace. I think that might tell them a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. His charging issue though, I don't know.
Oh yeah, that.
Not much. He didn't give us too much info.
No, he didn't. As if that wasn't the main problem, but it could be. Because if he's got headlight on, brake light on, or headlight, tail light, running lights on, and the battery's dying, then the coils are not going to get fire. If the charging system's that bad, if it's like not charging whatsoever, then the system could be failing because of the charging issue. But he said initially I had charging current, but then suddenly stopped. So he after replacing the old mechanical regulator rectifier, which was a split system, with a digital one. I don't know what that is.
I think he's referring to maybe a solid state one, which is just the
combined unit.
Yes. Yeah. Like a new style one. I mean, what else would you put in there?
Okay. I had charging current, but then something didn't. So I don't know if something his wiring is wrong. Because if he's saying that he did, I also noticed that after replacing the old mechanical rectifier regulator with a digital one, I initially had current before with the mechanical regulator rectifier, and then now I didn't with the new digital one. That sounds like a wiring problem, like he's wired something wrong.
Yeah.
Which I can't help you with too much because it all comes back to you, which is like understanding wherever you got that from, whether it was the clearance aisle at 7-Eleven or someone who is comparable and who sells good sets, good kits, which I don't know of any, unless you do, Matt.
Oh man, there was a site. I'd have to look it up.
If we remember, we'll put it in the description.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm getting tired.
Yeah, me too. So, it sounds like you wired something wrong. So, get back to us, Daniel. We'd love to hear back from you for sure about what you find. But I think what we've told you is enough for you to get the ground running.
Yeah, maybe bench sync the carbs.
Yeah,
and then put some gauges on it, and then get back to us.
Cool. So, question 3 from Joy. This is one of the guys who donated to us.
Yeah.
So we'll gladly answer his email.
Now, let me just, I don't know if you read through all his emails, but his first one is stating the problem, and it's very long. And then the second one, he says, I fixed it. So I don't know if you want to paraphrase or not.
So, Matt, I think you should paraphrase this because it sounds like you answered him back and helped him out.
No, I haven't, but, I'll do it.
Well, he said that.
No.
Okay, so no one.
What do you mean? No. He sent one email after the other.
Oh, okay.
So he replied back to his own email later on.
Okay.
And said,
okay, well then I can paraphrase it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had. This is Joy. Joy again. Thank you for the donation. Great show. Been learning a lot from both your YouTube videos. He has a non-starting CB650, which he's quoted as a pandemic project, which I love that terminology for it. He did some engine work to it. As far as he said, I was able to remove the cylinder head and replace the valve seals and lap the valves as well to perform a general cleanup, to clean off, carbon deposits and old gasket material. The issue that he was having was when he got it back together, torquing everything down according to the climber manual. To my relief, it fired up, he said. However, I still experienced some blue smoke. So he's has a bike that's smoking. So this time what he wanted to do was go in after the cylinder and see what's going on down inside of there. Because if it's smoking all the time, it's likely going to be some type of ring situation. So the biggest issue that he had was trying to get the cylinder off of the engine. He tried everything. He busted the jackhammer out. He had his wife helping him out there. His dog was helping him out there, trying to get the cylinder off of the motor, and he could not get it. He tried heat, everything, wedges. He tried hammering straight into the side of the motor with a flathead screwdriver, and it just was not working out. So he sent us all of that. He also has the carbs on pod filters. It seems to be running okay. He says he has a couple of slight hesitations at higher highway speeds, which could be a main jet issue. Would you agree, Matt? Highway speed issue, pod filters. It could be
needle or main, yeah.
Yeah, needle or main. But he's not too concerned about that right now. It was just a matter of getting this thing back together, obviously, or apart and then back together. So he said this was the update email he sent us. He said, so update, I got impatient and went and grabbed the materials to make the contraption to lift the cylinder head off of the block, and it was a success. So congratulations, Joy. Turns out the gasket between the head and block was on really well. The only thing I can think of is that caused it was the spray-on gasket maker I used when replacing the valve seals. I'm not sure what we're talking about there. Because if he's replacing the valve seals, he's had the head off. So why is the gasket material? I don't know. Anyway, the video helped a ton and got me back on schedule. Thanks again for all the content you guys pump out. Definitely keeps me motivated. Thank you, Joy. So, I mean, this is like a story with a happy ending to me, because he got the cylinder off. Because I mean, he tried everything that I would have suggested. He tried heat. He tried all different types of things. A rubber hammer, bashing that motor apart. And a lot of times, it's because, like, what I found is it's usually because of the dowel pins. The dowel pins rust. It's like a different metal compared to the cylinder and head or cylinder and engine, and they rust because of moisture over the years. I mean, we're talking like 30, 40 years. And the dowel pins just like weld themselves to that metal, and you can't get it apart until you build a contraption.
And he submitted pictures, and basically he kind of like just he made like this plate, and it was like a puller, and it just yanked the head off or something like that. So that was awesome.
It was awesome. Yeah. Thank you for sending the pictures, Joy. And it was awesome that you got back to us and let you know the success that you got. So put new rings on it. Make sure you double check the cylinder to piston clearance. Make sure it's not out of spec. The ring end gap, even with new rings, make sure that the ring end gap is good. So you don't you're just dealing with a worn out cylinder versus replacing the rings. That won't get you too far. That will actually get you to a piston slap is what it's called. If you're not careful. So that's my 2 cents on that. I mean, it sounds like he knows more than most.
Here he said he's from Joliet, Illinois, and that's like 50 miles from me or so. And there's a couple.
Cool.
There's a couple motocross tracks there and whatnot, and we used to ride there. So, I'm familiar with Joliet. So, actually,
wait, you know this guy?
I don't know him. I know the town he's from.
Got it.
He said, I'm formerly from Joliet, Illinois.
Okay.
He's like,
well, I saw his name is Joy. I was like, maybe his name is Joliet.
No.
But okay, it makes sense.
But anyway, like, I've had some heads that were on there pretty good. And, you can hit them with the hammer, but you want to hit those fins straight on. If you go up at an angle, you're going to bust those fins.
Yep.
And then it's going to look like crap. On this CB500, what I ended up doing is they have the pockets on the ends.
Okay.
The little... Mm-hmm. So if this is the head and the cylinder cert, I took a screwdriver and jammed it right in the pocket, and it wedged in there, and it popped it loose, and it didn't even damage anything.
The surface,
It didn't even nick them or anything. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, they have like a little like machined
Yep.
gully inside of both of the engine and the cylinder.
Yeah.
And you can do exactly what Matt said. On some of them, they don't, where you're just like, you got to almost dick it up, to get that thing apart.
Yeah. So I try not to bend the screwdriver up and down because then that'll
Right.
gouge the hell out of it. And whoever was working on this bike was using a screwdriver and gouged the hell out of it. And I had to hone those surfaces smooth and knock those. So
yeah.
Anyways.
Okay. Question 4. Oh, also enjoy the beer money.
Yeah. Thanks, Joy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Question 4.
Question 4 is from Dick. Sorry.
What's up, Dick?
From Dick from South Florida. My rides are a 75 Yamaha XS 650, which was a total teardown restoration, but not the engine or respoking. Maybe next one I'll go for it. Then he's got a 2014 Triumph Street Triple, great bike. And then a 97 Honda Helix, my old personal ride, approaching quickly. Love them. My 4th one.
He said my old person ride, not personal.
There's
a joke in there. I'm like, the Helix looks like an old person ride. That's why I commented.
I was reading that. I'm like, that didn't make sense what I just said. Love them. My 4th one. I ended up trading for something only to end up getting another. This one I'll keep. Have you guys done an episode on restoring an older bike, which may include things such as powder coating, chrome work, dealing with rust, determining if a frame is straight, how to straighten it, when to use aftermarket parts versus OEM? How about purchasing a used bike, when to walk away, bartering, replacing handlebar grips, plastic welding for dealing with broken plastic parts versus expensive replacement? Really enjoy your show. Maybe a little less bantering on the outset. Yes. Hope to build the Vapor Blaster once I sell my AC company.
Hey-o. Is it that expensive? You need to sell an AC company to build a Vapor Blaster, Matt?
No.
This guy wants some juicy information all in one content.
Yeah, no question, just suggestions, I guess.
Just on juicy information. So
go ahead, Matt. First off, do you have any videos on the stuff that he mentioned?
I don't have any that are free. So and inside the membership, it's pretty cool because people can ask things like this, and then I will respond with a video. Like, people come, they email me, they'll log into the private Facebook group, and they can ask me questions like, hey, like, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on that? And like, that's what it's there for, is like, I can give them my best advice. I don't have any videos on powder coating, chrome work, dealing with rust, determining frame to be straight, how to straighten it. I have nothing on that, but I'll be happy to answer stuff like that. I mean, there's one member, awesome guy, Mike Reed. Him and his wife have been amazing for the membership, and ever since MotorcycleMD started, really. He bought a completely roached, locked up CB350F, right? So the 4-cylinder 350, roached. I mean, that thing was like under a piece of carpet. I mean, it was just nasty out in someone's field. And he was like, what should I do about this? Oh, and he sent me pictures, and I just like put them up on a PowerPoint. And I was like, let's talk about it. This is going to be this much money. This is going to be this much money. And I mean, we kind of like walked through it and gone through the whole process. But I mean, as far as like powder coating and chrome work and all of this stuff, it's going to be like important for the location that you're in, because unless you know how to do chrome, Matt, or powder coat, you're going to be sending it off.
Yeah, it's a farmed out service.
Yeah, and like that's what I've done with 350. That's behind me. I'm not going to powder coat it. I'm not going to get things chromed. Getting things chromed is very expensive, and I'm not going to learn how to do it in my own garage. So most of that stuff is done outsourcing. I mean,
yeah, I mean, if you need something painted, then strip everything down and take it to get powder coated. I don't know what.
Yeah. I mean, even going back to the membership, Mike ask like, because every now and then, every couple of months, I'll be like, hey, what do you guys want to learn? You know what I mean? And they'll be like, I want to learn about this. I want to learn about suspension. I want to learn about restoring a bike bolt to bolt. I want to learn about, how to, like this guy just asked, purchasing a used bike, when to walk away, bartering. I did that on a live stream already, but I did a video on that for Mike. I was like, this is what I look at when I go to look at a used bike, So there's things that I do like this inside the membership, but I mean, replacing handlebar grips, this is very, I don't know. I don't have anything like that I can just give him right now, but what I can offer for this question is like the membership that I have that I offer people allows things for like this to live and for it to be talked about. That's all I can add.
Is there like a forum inside your membership? Can people talk to each other, or are they just talking to you?
Yeah. So we have a private Facebook group.
Oh, okay.
So all members can live inside of there. I have a community forum, but I've found that it's more difficult for me to get back to it on time because of the extent that it goes. And I mean, with Facebook, even if you make a fake account on Facebook and join a group, it's so easy to post videos. It's so easy to talk. It's so easy to get notifications. It's so easy to just be involved in.
Sure.
So I'm thinking about kind of doing away with that community forum because it doesn't function like I would like it to. But we have a private Facebook group, and I have you can get in. Like once you get the membership, I give you a link to that private group, and you join in.
Yeah, I just started one for the Vapor Blaster stuff.
Cool.
So anyone who has purchase plans gets a link, and we just talk about if they need build support, or just any questions. And
super helpful.
And what's cool is seeing other people's builds, like people from all over the world just building crazy stuff, man. So I get that. That's cool.
But that's my best advice for this guy. I mean, we're not going to walk through every one of these questions. It's just
yeah. I mean, I guess I was just asking if you had content around this. I don't have any content. I have some on replacing grips on an MX bike, and I did it with an air compressor. You ever blow into grips and they just
man. It blows up.
And putting them on it, that's like the best thing in the world, man.
Yeah.
Instead of using your mom's hairspray or whatever, But that's all I have. But these are good topics, and
very good topics.
Especially purchasing a used bike. There's a lot of stuff you can do around that. But
absolutely, Dick. I'm not trying to bash your questions. These are brilliant questions. That's all I have to add to it. So we stop yawning. We shouldn't end this.
Dude, I just woke up too early today. Had played in the snow, cleaned the snow. So I'm just beat, man.
And because of my internet, we ended it. I feel like we could have ended it before 10, but because of my internet, it's just what it is. So
had some technical difficulties.
We had some technical difficulties, and we're both tired. I've been painting all day, so that's always fun. But anything you want to plug before we wrap this up, Matt?
No, I think I talked enough.
Okay.
This episode or whatever.
Cool.
So I'm good.
Awesome. Well, check out howtomotorcyclerepair.com for all of your motorcycle needs, as well as the TheMotorcycleMD, as well as if you guys want to check out some grip clean, I'm sending this stuff to Matt for him to try out. It's awesome stuff. In the description, we'll post any links to videos, products, stuff that we support and we genuinely believe in that will help you guys out, just like grip clean. So if you want to get 10% off, I have a link there for you. Matt's got some awesome stuff going out. Be sure to stay close to his YouTube channel as well as his website. He'll let you guys know. If you have a mailing list, I'm sure that'd be the best place to get the insight, the DL, as they say, on stuff that's coming out. So until next time, enjoy. No, not enjoy. Email.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
askbrokenmoto@gmail.com. Send us your information.
Awesome. Thanks for closing that out, man, because I was just...
I was trying to get us out of here quick. Yeah. I got to piss.
All right, cool. All right. Thank you all.
Later.